Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to continue in um, Season 1, Episode 11 of Arbor Adventures. So, Dolos is the Sun Elf rogue assassin. Dolos is on the front lines next to Forge Lord Shram. And Forge Lord Shram's 600 dwarven sentinels slam into the human woodcutters. Now, the human woodcutters are wearing very little armor, whereas the dwarven sentinels are wearing dwarven armor, carrying battle hammers and battle axes, right? And the human woodcutters are wearing very little and literally just carrying the axes they use to chop down trees, right? So these two lines smash into each other, and what's pretty incredible is the first dwarf smashes into the human woodcutters, and he goes to smash the elbow of one of the human woodcutters who has his axe held high, and instead of just shattering the elbow and the entire arm of that human woodcutter, instead that battle hammer, with all of its fury, all of its momentum, smashes back directly into the face of the dwarven sentinel. Now, why is that? Well, Dolos realizes right away what's happening, and it is the bracers. He realizes what's happening, but he's not sure why. Okay, he realizes that 100 of the human woodcutters are wearing the bracers of 100 warriors. Now, what the bracers of 100 warriors do is any non-magical weapon is literally cannot harm the woodcutters, and in fact, the attack is literally repelled with equal force right back at the person who attacked them. Right, so the bracers of 100 warriors not only gives those warriors immunity to non-magical weapons, but those non-magical weapons actually bounce back and will cut or smash against the person who delivered the attack, right, with equal force, right? And so the initial charge is absolutely devastating because Forge Lord Shram's dwarven sentinels don't understand what's happening, so they just slam into this 100 human woodcutters, and they just rout the first line of the dwarven sentinels, right? And most of the dwarven sentinels are damaged by their own attacks and are stunned, right? And so the entire line breaks, right? And so what ends up happening is, after the clash, and Crown and Skull has 5 phases to a round, and literally within the first phase 5 and phase 4, 35, 40 dwarves are dead, right? And 10 woodcutters are dead, okay? So the losses are 4-1, right? And Dolos realizes what's happening. He doesn't know how, because the bracers of 100 warriors is literally on his belt. So he has no idea how the bracers of 100 warriors got to the woodcutters without him giving it to him. So this is a mystery, right? But Dolos realizes the woodcutters have this surprise, right? And Forge Lord Shram came here with no communication with his daughter. He was just like, "Oh, my daughter needs help," and made zero communication, so had zero intel, and has walked into a massacre. And Dolos is like, "We need to retreat," and he makes a persuasion check, and Forge Lord Shram is like, "Bet you're 100% right. My men are falling left and right, and I'm not sure why they're dying, right? Because this doesn't make sense." And so he cries out in Dwarven, to the Sapphire Mines, right? And this was one problem that I ran into. I really dislike languages. I feel like in Dungeons and Dragons we should really get rid of it. But there are moments where it does really help, like because he can yell to his men in Dwarven, and they can all run to the Sapphire Mine there in Phandalin, and the human woodcutters won't know, right? So that was an issue because I did tell my player, like, don't invest a ton of points in language because I rarely use it in my games. But and so what I try to do when I do that, when I do something that I said I wouldn't do, right, for a single instance to make a moment in the narrative happen, I try to reward the players, right? Like say, okay, well, here might have been helpful to have Dwarven speech here, but you didn't, because you listened to me, and so I'll usually award them hero points, right? And so it was really significant. So now all the dwarves cut and run, and they run toward the Sapphire Mines in Phandalin. Phandalin has 6 mines, and the Sapphire Mines is one of them. And so they run, and there's another round of them being cut down, but only about 10 more. Actually, it was initially about 30. So by the time they get to the Sapphire Mines, then the deaths are at 40. But that's, and you're like, well, that's not a whole lot, and the reason why is Forge Lord Shram realized very quickly, because Dolos warned him, you're in a whirlwind of pain here, and it's this, you could lose everybody, and to his credit, Forge Lord Shram didn't want to, throw his warriors to their deaths for nothing, right? And so they escape to the Sapphire Mines the Dwarven miners have in Phandalin, and that's where we'll pick it up next time. Thank you so much for letting me share this with you. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion on the best parts of our adventures. The important parts, when I get to hear your humble opinion on all this, please consider liking, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.